Hi, my name is Robbie Webb. Welcome to our series on music production for smartphones. In today's video, we're going to go over what effects are and how to add them to our project on BandLab. This whole process should take about a half hour to complete. I recommend you listen to this video on headphones. Grab your headphones and let's get started. Effects are special processors that we can add to our project to change the sound of our instruments and to add more excitement to our song. We're going to go over the two most basic effects in detail today. First, we're going to solo this lead synth track so we can focus on it. Next, double tap on the piano icon on the right side of the screen. On this menu, we're going to hit the FX icon on the bottom of the screen. On this page, we're going to tap the plus sign next to the square that says None, and then tap the plus sign in the upper right-hand corner. The first effect we're going to add is delay. Imagine that you're standing at the top of a mountain and you yell your name. You're first going to hear the sound of your voice coming from your mouth. A few seconds later, you're going to hear that same sound bounce back to you from across the mountain. The sound you hear a few seconds later is called an echo. Delay simulates that exact effect. It takes your original sound or signal, quickly records it, and then repeats it moments later. To add a delay effect to our track, we're going to scroll up top over to Delay and select that. From this menu, we will select D-Delay, which stands for Digital Delay. On this menu, we can see all of the controls for the delay. Let's go over them. The time controls how long until the first delay happens. The lower the value, the shorter the delay. The higher the value, the longer the delay. Like this. The next control, feedback, controls how many repeats or echoes happen. The lower the value, the less repeats, and vice versa. We're going to skip HP and LP filter for just a second to take a look at the last three controls on the page. Dry level controls how much of the original sound you hear. Wet level controls how much of the effect you hear. And effect level controls how loud that effect is. We'll use a combination of these three sliders to get the perfect balance of our original sound and our delay. Now that we have control over the levels of our delay, let's take a look at the HP and LP filters. To really get an understanding of what these controls do, we're going to listen to just the wet affected sound for a second. HP filter and LP filter stand for high pass and low pass filter. We can use these controls to change the sound of our delay. With the high pass filter, we can control how much low end or bass there is in the delay. The farther we move it to the right, the less bass there is. With the low pass filter, we can control how much high end or treble there is in the delay. The farther we move it to the left, the less treble there is. I like the way this sounds, so I'm going to leave the setting here. Let's bring back the dry signal. Play around with all of the controls on the delay until you have a sound that you like. I think this sounds good, so I'm going to leave it set up like this. We're going to add one more effect after the delay. To better understand and hear the next effect, we're going to turn the delay off for just a minute. To do this, tap the white dot with the green bar next to it in the upper right-hand corner. Then press the plus sign in the upper right-hand corner of the screen to add the next effect. The last effect we're going to go over is reverb. Reverb, or reverberation, is actually made up of thousands of delays happening very quickly at different times and volumes. They happen so quickly that our ears perceive them as one giant, complex echo. Our brain uses this information to help understand what space the sound is coming from. So simply put, reverb, or reverberation, is a sound of a space or room. We use reverb to make it sound like instruments or sounds are being played in certain spaces. Let's add a reverb and learn more about it. Scroll on the menu up top till you see reverb and select it. On this menu, select the Space Maker reverb. Let's go over the controls. The first control is mix. This controls how much of the reverb versus the original sound we hear. The farther we move the slider to the right, the more reverb or wet signal we have. The farther to the left, the more of the original sound or dry signal we have. Notice how the more reverb we add, the farther away the instrument sounds from us. When we press stop, we can hear the sound decaying as if we were in the room with it. The next control is width. This controls how wide our reverb sounds. The farther we move the slider to the left, the more reverb comes from the center. The farther we move the slider to the right, the more reverb comes from the sides. The room size controls how big or small the room that the reverb is simulating is. The farther we move the slider to the left, the smaller the room. The farther we move it to the right, the bigger. The dampening control works a lot like the low-pass filter we use on the delay. The farther we move it to the left, the less high end or treble we have on our reverb. In the reverb type menu on the bottom, we can choose from several different rooms or spaces. Play around with the different controls and reverb types until you find a sound that you like. I like the way this sounds, so I'm going to leave it set like that. Let's turn our delay back on and hear how it sounds with our reverb. Select the delay in the upper left corner of your screen. Then tap on the white dot in the upper right-hand corner again. Let's listen. Feel free to make adjustments as it's playing to fine-tune your sound. Once you're happy, use the arrow in the upper left-hand corner to go back. Congratulations! You've made your very first effects chain. An effects chain is simply several different effects put together to make a new sound. If you want to try some other effects chains, BandLab has some built-in presets that you can check out by scrolling to the right on this menu. As you scroll, it will preview each effects chain for you. If you want to edit or see what effects are being used, tap the little mixer icon in the upper right corner of the effects chain preset and hit Edit. You can select each effect in the chain on the menu up top to see what is being used. This is a great way to explore new sounds and experiment with new effects. To save your effects selection, hit the down arrow in the upper right-hand corner. Using the controls we went over in this video, try adding effects to your project to add a new level of excitement to your song. And remember, always have fun.